Good evening, America. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing awesome today. Awesome
Magnificent.
today. Heavy day. How you doing, Pastor Small?
Magnificent.
Magnificent. And the good doctor. How you doing today, dear?
I'm well, and y'all?
Hey, we making it. Making it best we can. That's all I can say is we're making it the best we can. Um, so we got a bunch to talk about tonight. We are all our guests are late. All our panelists are late. I don't know where they are, and I don't know why my head is going in and out like that. But StreamYard has been messing up so bad with their video that um, I know when we get ready to go to the OBS one, it should be a little bit better because it doesn't do this on Zoom, but it does it on when you got the green screen up. It kind of like fades out unless you up to it or to a certain angle or something.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's another story. Um, Pastor Smalls, you all right? We got the good Dr. Jamar Toure. He's joining us right now. Dr.
Amen.
Toure. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Here you come, y'all.
Cause I'm about to go to Cool Vibes, home of the oxtail pizza, cause you know I gotta get me something. I ain't had nothing to eat. They had me out here on these streets. And then you know I got to be on the show with y'all radicals. Oh my God.
That's
you know,
my
I need
friend.
nutrients.
That's my true friend. That's my friend, y'all.
I need
You got
more
on short
nutrients.
pants, man?
Oh, Lord have mercy, help us, Lord, help us.
Our stuff is
Okay,
live.
huh?
I said we live.
Yeah.
We live.
That's
We
right.
live. We live. Yeah, I don't know where those other people are, but I guess they had some engagements that making them late. This show was supposed to be at 11:30 this morning, but we pushed it back so everybody can have affairs today.
Julius, don't worry about them people.
No, we not. We not. We gonna move on with what we're doing. We're gonna first get to the good doctor. The
Okay.
good doctor, Deidre Grimm, and we're talking about Ivory Bay and what everything. Tell us a little bit about Ivory Bay.
Well, last time I was on, I was starting to talk about it, but I know that we were going to run out of time. But for those who don't know what a community development corporation is, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And as most CDCs, we are in existence to support and revitalize communities, especially those who have been impoverished and disenfranchised. And so we operate in the areas of affordable housing, job training, education, health equity, as well as commercial development. And we just want to ensure that we're lifting up the community and making sure that everyone has an equitable playing field. So for those who may not know, we are a tax-exempt organization. So any donations in kind or monetary are fully tax deductible when giving to us. And so we just are here to do great things. And of course, we have our garden initiative. And so we'll be out there tomorrow morning in the garden with the Deep Center, with some of the youth from there in the community. And what we're going to do is are focusing on healing centric gardens. And so ensuring that we are working towards eradicating food insecurity, but also chronic illnesses. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we're doing right now. So if anyone wants to join us tomorrow, we'll be out there around 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to be digging and toiling in the soil, as well as learning about how we can take our health back in our own hands.
Okay, so Ivory Bay. So what is Ivory Bay? Or have we started a movement with Ivory Bay so that we can all invest? Where Pastor Smalls, myself, Jamal, and Minister Jerome Irwin up there. Where can we invest in Ivory Bay so that we can see something tangible on the other end, not just to support Ivory Bay, but to make sure that we build within Ivory Bay?
So most definitely, we are getting ready to have a meeting later. Well, I can't say this month, but next month. And you all are invited, and I'll send out the invitations. It is by invite only because due to COVID precautions. And that way you'll learn about the opportunities to invest in Ivory Bay as well as invest in lifting up the community. So we have heard what you said, Julius, as far as ensuring that we handle ourselves as well as we don't look for anyone else to give us anything. But we've also been in some great conversations with some funding partners who are looking to do some great deals with Ivory Bay as well. So it will be soon, within less than 30 days. So I will make sure that everyone here gets that invitation.
Yeah, make sure we know, because I'm sure that you got us. It starts at home, right, Pastor?
Yes, sir.
It starts with us, and if I don't care if it's $500 each that we got to put in, and it's 500 of us, let's do something where we're going to say that, okay, Ivory Bay is doing this, and we're going to go and buy this land, or we're going to go and buy this house, and we're going to rebuild this, renovate this house, and then we'll probably flip it and do. Ivory Bay needs some action, and it comes from us. Let's not wait on nobody else.
That's how we
And
do.
that's what I'm saying.
And you know what? I agree. I will also say that I'm so happy that we hadn't been so busy, especially in light of how the media was portraying us and having these claims of nefariousness as well as some financial improprieties. So, there were nothing on the books for them to try to assume or think that we had something going on, so there was nothing for them to find, and so we were happy that we were in this place. But yes, now that Ivory Bay has gotten attention, it is time for the baby to take stop crawling and to walk, and so that's what I'm here to do.
Okay, well, we are behind you. I'm sure that Dr. Jamar Toure, Pastor Leonard Smalls, and Brother Jerome Irvin, we're all with you, and we're trying to make sure that it does something, because we're concerned with community building. That's what we're here for, community building. We have an obligation before we leave this earth to do something good and to leave a legacy of for the future of our grandkids and our great grandkids to have something and remember us by. So, okay, any of y'all want to talk about anything with Ivory Bay? I got a question for her while she's here.
Well, my point has always been to deal with the since this is about a look back over the month. I'm thinking in terms of the farce that they were allowed to put forth concerning a conflict of interest that did not exist for Bernetta. And even, and let me make this note, even if it was Dr. Grimm, you've got, see, they say things to us and we don't put on our thinking caps. We don't hear the actual words which define the concept. How can there be a conflict of interest that would inure to a certain person if the circumstance is a non-profit tax exempt circumstance? Deidre's looking at me because she know I'm singing the song that she's already aware of. I own as a CEO of nonprofits 3 radio stations. I operate a church and some other lands that are under one of the corporations. None of that money, listen to me very carefully, 0 of that money inures to me personally. That's why there can't be a conflict of interest, because, listen to the words, non-profit tax exempt. And that's why Dr. Grimm is nodding her head because they made up an issue whole cloth. Had nothing to do with the facts or the law or a proper procedure. Zero. And they had us, black folks in the community, chasing ghosts that did not exist. And what we've got to learn how to do is succinctly point out their foolishness. And that's why when we finally came to the actual meeting, Michael Brown didn't say nothing. He didn't put nothing on the table because he knew what he was doing was propaganda from the beginning.
Pastor Small, if I may interject, they're afraid of what Ivory Bay is about to accomplish.
Oh.
I'm not going to say could, because we are, I believe that we are onto something great because we don't talk about poverty reduction. We talk about wealth generation, and it isn't a part of their systemic issue or their means of thinking for Black people to actualize wealth. Black people, I was about to post something on Facebook, but I got so engulfed with my mom day and all this other stuff. But, everybody talks about low income. And so I don't use the term low income. I use the term low wealth. African Americans make about 60% of white households, right? Their income. And so that has remained steady since 1970. But when we talk about wealth, we are about 5% of the Caucasian wealth in our households, because number one, most of your wealth is tied to land and home ownership, and redlining has basically created these barriers as well as depreciation of our land. So therefore, we do not actualize wealth at the same rate as our counterparts. And so Ivory Bay, they did a hit job on Miss Bernetta, her husband, myself, Miss Melinda, anybody who they could find paperwork on. They did a hit job on us. But you know what? All it does is, and they should have known better. When you come for us, we're just going to come back 10 times harder because we know what this is going to do for the community. We know that this is going to elevate the people because it's not about Deidre. It's not about Bernetta. It's not about Oscar. It's not about any of us on the screen. It's about ensuring that the community as a whole have the resources and tools that they need to ensure that they actualize wealth before leaving this earth. And so I was on your screen the other night, Julius, when it was on the Rabble, and a gentleman said, well, why don't you invest here? Because I said, I was looking at purchasing, properties in Africa before I passed to leave on to my children. Well, we have properties here in the U.S., so why not leave some properties from our motherland to my children? And so this is what Ivory Bay is going to do. We're going to be global Africans. We're going to come in and out, just like they've been historically for years. We're going to have books of passports stamped up because it's about ensuring that we, as people from the African diaspora, continue to make those connections to our motherland, as well as lift them up, as well as lift up the people here. And so at the end of the day, they're afraid. And that's all I'm going to say. They do not want Ivory Bay to actualize. They do not want Ivory Bay to get off the ground. So therefore, they had to say, oh, it's something illegal or some impropriety. So anybody knows anything about Bernetta Lanier, she's going to dot her I's, cross her T's, and make sure every A is closed. So that's not going to happen. But I'm sorry.
And we speak for we, Dr. Toure.
I'm going to say this right here. I've been disappointed. I've been disappointed for a long time. I'm disappointed for a couple of decades. I was excited when Ivory Bay came along because outside of Savannah, other areas have CPs. But here in Savannah, in Georgia, in coastal Georgia, we act like we don't even know anything about community development corporations. And that has how some communities have been empowered. So that's when Ivory Bay came along. I was like, yes, that's it. That's the move. And we need to be about that and make sure that our other communities and other groups of people here in the city understand that, other people in the county understand that. That's the way to empower us. That's what the time is. Now, I know, like I said, I'm here now at Cool Vibes. But Julius, I got to share this with you. Guess what happened? I had just passed down Durant Avenue, passed about 1800 East Durant Avenue. Happy hunting grounds, HBJ, baby. Bam, the Warriors in the house. But
The light was out too, right? The lights was out at HBJ. Yeah, you just passed by there. The lights was out. They only had lights on over there.
but I want to throw this out right too, because address it. I've talked with people about this. Community policing is needed here. We need community policing. We got folks on the streets that's supposed to protect and serve, don't respect the people who they're supposed to be serving. A city 55% Black, African American, and they don't respect us in life and don't respect us in death. That's a problem. Time out for all that. The change is needed right now. So I'm like, cut. Let's get to it. That if leadership need to change, that's what needs to happen. Here you go. You got folks who have witnessed somebody being dead inside their building, and there's no trauma counseling, no grief counseling, nothing being done. That goes to show you that there's no leadership. I'm just putting it out there, and Savannah needs to get on board with regards to this and addressing some of this, and not based on personalities, not based on friendships, not based on relationships. It's about the truth. That's the bottom line. That's all it's about.
That's it.
That's correct.
So I have a question, because my husband used to work for CCPD, and Chief Hadley is all about community policing. So Savannah PD hasn't embraced the community policing model.
Look at the people who are coming out the academy. I've been encouraging our folks, the ones who I know. I've said to people, we got to be the ones now going to the academy. But then they need to do a concerted effort of recruiting and letting people here know we need you as officers here, because the people who are policing right now don't identify the communities. So that's why they can be so brazen about mistreating people, not showing any respect in life and death.
And that is absolutely correct, because you can't get a guy from Wyoming to come here and understand how we live. You can't get a guy from North Dakota, or South Dakota, or Nebraska to understand the community here and to be able to relate. You know, it does not happen that easy. I was a police officer for 10 years here, and I knew that these guys that came from another city, from a rural area, from the military, they did not know how to police an urban area. They did not know how to police our neighborhoods. I had to train them all over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were so gung-ho, ready to go charge and change the world, but you couldn't change the world a bullet at a time. You had to change it one mind at a time. And you know, I guess I was just one of the greatest training officers in the world. But anyway, I digress. Brother Jerome Irwin, you got anything on the top?
Well, you know, like when we're talking about the police officers, you got some locals that still don't understand what it's all about. I was sitting in a restaurant and I had my truck parked outside, and the guy come, who's driving that truck out there? I said, me. Come on, you got to go with me. Where am I going? I'm a full-grown man, 50 years old, and he's looking for a guy that's 20 years old.
You should have been flattered.
You reckon? He takes me around to where this guy was supposed to have done what he did, and I told you he was a 20-year-old guy. This man hit me way older than 20.
He took you in the police vehicle,
man. Like you said, a gun hold. It's all about trying to make a name for yourself.
Yeah. And you know what? You're right, because I remember, and I can say this now, but I was sitting on jury duty, right? And I saw a police officer lie on the stand. When they cross-examined him, the lies came out on the stand. Do you know, after all of that, he was still promoted to sergeant?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And he started in the West Side precinct. So I'm trying to understand if these are the type of police that we're dealing with, who are they protecting and serving? Because it's not the people. They're serving their best interests. Like you said, they're gung-ho to make a name, and where are they going to go?
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You know, I've been pastoring Litway Missionary Baptist Church for 38 years. The church runs like a sewing machine because of leadership.
That's right.
Because of leadership. It's not dictatorship, and it's not who are my friendship. We don't have picks, we don't have favorites, and that's how I've lasted that long at a single church. But now we have this gentleman who was picked by Hernandez when he looked all over the country to find someone who had a reputation for not doing right by people of his own color. Because that was his reputation before he came here. And then this man, I want you to hear this, said to the newspaper, because the people called me again today, said to the newspaper reporters that it is, and I want you to listen to this, Julius, because you were a policeman, it is standard operating procedure for them not to reveal the names of the officers who are being put on administrative leave for conduct that's being questioned. He told the newspaper people that. That is a lie, a flat foot, ugly down the street, around the corner lie.
Why is he supposed? I mean, these are city employees answerable to the people and the citizens of the city. And you're saying that
open records too, wasn't he?
He told the newspaper.
Exactly.
He told the newspaper, and you look at the story in the newspaper, and all you see are their ranks. He said it was standard operating procedure.
It's not. He's a liar.
But look
this
at
guy,
the story everywhere across the country.
Every name is always called when it's an infraction. And he thinks that he has this same mentality as the mayor. If you say it, they'll believe it.
Come on.
If you say it, they'll believe it.
I had to actually tell the newspaper lady. She called me about 3 hours ago. I said, listen, she said, do you have the full names of these police officers? I said, so the chief didn't give them to you? He said it was it was not standard operating procedure for them to release the names. I said, these are public servants. These are people on the taxpayers' payroll. And if there's a question about their behavior, their name but see, that's what they're doing to us. They'll say things like, it's a personnel matter, therefore it can't be disclosed. That's not written anywhere.
No.
That's always been the kind of stupid stuff they've done. The school board does it. Other businesses, other government places do it. That's not the law. It does not exist. And we've got to stop. What we've got to do is start studying, doing our homework, so that when they speak stupidly to us, we can speak back to them. The man said to me because I got on him about not calling me when the city manager said he was going to call me. So he called me and said, I did call you yesterday and I didn't get through it. So. I returned, everybody on this thing who knows me and has ever called me knows that I return every call that I get. Every call to everybody. My phone is smarter than me, so it records everybody who calls, and I return all those calls. So after the press conference yesterday, now he has my number again. Okay? Now all of a sudden because he's had my number before, so now he has my number again. And then he says to me, I want y'all to get this because my mama didn't raise no fool. He says to me, Reverend Small, you don't understand. Reverend Dr. Leonard Small, PhD, 38 years in ministry, you don't understand. How can he's a real brilliant man, can look all the way in the back of my brain and figure out what I don't understand. When one thought out of my head would bust his skull wide open. Now, we've got to stop letting this happen. And I'm challenging you. I stood there yesterday morning in front of the police department, and I had some women with me, but I also had some men behind me. And when I looked at that picture, the way they were standing, they were stoic. That's strength. That's raw strength. And we need to recognize that we can do this. We need to come out and do that. We need men. We need Black men standing shoulder to shoulder. And Deidre is right. Excuse me, Dr. Graham. She is right. Make sure you hear me. She is perfectly right. They are afraid of us. They're afraid we'll fool around and get $4 and then we won't need them. That's why I can speak like I speak, because I don't need them. I ain't got to borrow money from nobody no more long as I live. I don't have to go to a bank. I ain't got to check with nobody about no credit. My credit score is 800 or something. I don't even have to look at it. Now, why is that? Because my mama didn't raise no fool, and I learned how to preserve my money. And so I don't have to wait until they get in the mood to let me say something. And we're going to have that's what that community development process is, getting folk to a position where they have independent, monetized self-determination. That's what it does. So listen, they can't even shut me off locally. They can't shut off my radio stations. It's federal. It's federal. Oh, they would cut me if
they could.
Guy up in Jessup walked up to my manager and said, "You need to cut this radio station off." My manager said, "You need to let me in here. I need to inspect this place." I said, my manager said, "You don't get to come in here. You got a search warrant or something?" "Well, I have a right. I'm the city manager." She said, "That don't make you have a right to go in this building." Got me on the phone. He said, "Cut it off, or we gonna cut it off." I said, "I'll own Jessup. Cut it off if you want." I like going to court. I like going to court. I win all the time. I get money from them people. So listen, we've got to learn what the rules of the game are.
That's
and
right.
You're not going to learn them looking at TV or even listening to people of our color and kind who try to tell us what the rules are, and they just be lying. I am just as mad. I'm just as mad with Chief Mentor right now as I am with Donald Trump. There ain't no difference. I'm just as mad with Van Johnson for the way he treats 4 Black women, educated, intelligent, trained, dedicated Black women to this community. I'm just as mad at him, at Van Johnson, as I am at Donald Trump. Because no real man should be quiet in the face of him abusing Black women.
That's correct.
Every man who ain't angry with that, you're a punk. And that ain't homosexual. That's sorry Negroes. I didn't say the other word, Julius.
Yeah, right.
Sorry Negroes.
Yes, sir. And it's a shame. And Pastor Paul, you speak honestly and you speak passionately. And that's why everybody on this panel, I was there with you yesterday, and we're standing up for the community. That's all it's about with us, is community. It ain't about us. It's about community. And the way that Jerome Irwin leads with the Labor Council, he cares about the workers. The way that Toure gives us our history and advocates for things that we need in our community, it's about the community. And that's what it's all about. When you get people that are trying to be politicians, it's about them. We're trying to be servants of the people. That means it's about the community. Amen. And that's the whole difference. We had an event Wednesday at Lake Mare with the Workers Memorial. Mr. Irvin, can you tell us more about the Workers Memorial and the upcoming events that the APRI has coming up?
Well, basically, Worker Memorial, we have workers that go to work every day. A lot of them are just like us. They go to work and they want to go home to their families, but when they come home, there's a lot of them dragging and can't get up. But then we got some that don't even make it home. Those that don't make it home, they hurt up, a lot of them are in the graveyard, and that's due because they work in unsafe conditions. And a lot of people cry about what unions do and what unions don't do, and they hate to pay the dues for being part of the union. But the thing is, we make sure that they're safe. The working conditions are safe, and if it's not safe, then we shut the place down. But people don't realize that they cry about 50 cents and let the people tell them anything they feel like telling them. Reverend Smalls hit the nail on the head a few minutes ago. He's talking about people at the Board of Education. You got people out there working around and driving buses and everything else. But we want people to be safe. We want to make sure that people be able to get home to their families. Man, 23 years old, go to work and can't come. And when he goes to work, his wife looking for him to come home. She's got a 2-year-old baby there, and next thing you know, then that baby is daddyless. So that's what we look out for. A. Philip Randolph, we work hard trying to work in the community, trying to make we are a bridge between labor and the community. We try to bring all our information as we can to the community. Just like tomorrow, we're going to be behind May Street Y. We're going to be at the May Street Y, and we're going to be talking about SB 202 and the bad parts about it and what we can do to change some of that and make it. Everything, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So we think we got a reaction for it. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So we need everybody can be there at May Street Y tomorrow to be there, and then on the 15th we're going to be on Forsyth Park. So we're going to be doing that. We will have Black Voters Matter bus in with us tomorrow morning too.
So on the 15th, that's a Saturday. You're gonna be at Forsyth Park, and what is the main topic of the event?
It's still SB 202.
It's all about that.
Our community has to be educated on how to handle what's fixing to happen with 202.
Tell them what 202 is in a few words.
It's a voter suppression bill. It's a voter suppression bill, and a lot of people think that we went out there and we asked Delta Airlines, Home Depot, excuse me, Major League Baseball has pulled out the All-Star game. A lot of the movies are pulling out of it, and movie industry is pulling out of Georgia because of this voter suppression bill. So everybody know it's wrong, but the governor that we got did the school bus drivers and the part-time workers. He did them wrong when he was Secretary of State because he cut their unemployment off.
Yep.
He did it. Nobody else did it. He did it.
Sure did.
We fought him. The Teamsters fought him. Teamsters 728 fought him tooth and nails and won one year. And he came back the next year and made it a policy so that we couldn't beat him again.
Okay.
So can I add something to Mr. Jerome's? I'm just thinking in context of what unions do. They advocate for equitable pay. They advocate for people to have livable wages. And so what happens is that they don't want people to get these particular wages because, as Dr. Small says, we wouldn't need them anymore, right? We wouldn't need them anymore. So I did a lot of studying on unions. I actually come from a lot of longshore people in Charleston. And so what was interesting is that, these are some of the harshest conditions. And, just thinking about how they are putting themselves in harm's way, even our bus drivers without proper PPE. And people may not like it, but they position the essential worker to be the new slave. And so what we have to do is make sure that they are fairly compensated, that they have hazard pay, that they have standard wages, and that someone is keeping the system accountable. And so that's why people buck the system when it comes to unions, because they don't want to be accountable. Private businesses it's not in their best interest to be accountable to the community. And that's why we always talk about community benefit agreements, ensuring that people have the tools that they need to be healthy when they come home, and that they make it home every night. I think it is very disheartening that a 23-year-old gentleman left his child fatherless while he was out there trying to make a living, an honest living. We always hear this narrative that, Black men are thugs and they want to rob and kill and do all this other stuff. No, it boils down to what the community looks like and the health of their household. So as a man, my husband, if he ever lost his job, it has depressed him, because as a man, I know that the strength is in all of you all. If you can't take care of your house, the Bible teaches that a man that doesn't take care of his home is worse than an infidel. So when you sit up here and you can't take care of your house, you go to all kinds of extremes to figure out what you can do. But instead of supporting these unions that are keeping people out of trouble and keeping them employed and being held accountable, they don't want to do that. And so it's very disheartening, and it's very hard. It hurts me to my core when we hear, this narrative of Black men don't want anything. Black men are thugs. No, at the end of the day, they just want to take care of their household. They want to live a quality life. And so they had to go revert to some other alternative to do that.
Well, it goes back from...
Go ahead, Dr. Graham. Go ahead, Dr. Graham. That's my sister. That's my sister.
You're going to get beat up too. Keep on. But no, seriously, what really hurts me is you got employees on the job. You done brought them from $5 an hour up to $15 an hour. Some of them making $20 an hour, and then they're gonna go back and tell you, well, what has the union done for me? When they're sitting down, and they were there when they were making $5 an hour, and they saw the movement of the union.
Yep.
And they're gonna holler about, what can the union do for me? They ain't doing nothing for me. I can do this by myself.
Well,
I have not yet seen one person go into an office with an employee and with an employer, I'm meant to say, and when he goes in there and he tells the employer, well, I want this and I want that. When he come out that door by himself, he's going out the door.
That's exactly right.
He's not coming back in that door. But when you got the union standing behind you, and you go in there with that union steward or the union representative, whoever it may be, they can't put you out that door. No. And you got to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet.
When I was at Certainty, like I said at the memorial the other day, I'd been there. I'd come home from prison as a young man. I'd gotten saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, and was called into the gospel ministry. And that change caused me, as soon as I got there, folks got impressed. And then they made me the union steward. And so I studied unions, and I've been fighting and working with unions and marching, even after I wasn't working that type of job. But here's one of the things that you might not know about a union. Let me put it where the money is. I'm gonna put it where in the country they say where the goats can get it. So I need you to understand this. We did a study, and for every dollar a non-union worker makes, the average union worker makes $1.25. It doesn't sound like much right there, but what that means is every time someone makes $40,000, the union worker is making $50,000. And if your average time of working is 40 years from 20 to 60, you just gave away an actual, not theoretical, you've given away an actual $200,000. An actual $200,000, not theoretical. Now, I want you to hear this. The difficulty is that makes it was $10,000 for 40 years. That's 400,000. Get the math right. That's 400. What is the difference between your life if you take in an extra $400,000 while you're working? And we are so blind that even before you even get to representation and of job protection and unfair conditions, just the raw fat dollar bills need to make everyone want to be a part of a union. And the last thing I need to say on this issue is this. Why do they fear unions? It's because it's the organization of the workers. The businesses are organized. They go to they go and lobby Congress. They lobby Congress to get rules so they can treat us bad and exploit us. I'm talking about common people. And we need to recognize that if we don't organize, even on the community level for other issues, if we don't come together and organize and stand up and speak forth as a unit, we'll perish apart as fools.
So I'm hearing some synergies around this, right? So unions, fearful because organization of workers, right? CDCs, fearful because organization of the community. City council members, fearful because of organization of the people's voices.
Yep.
So it's all about organization. It's all about rallying together. It is all there is always strength in numbers. There's always strength in unity. And so what better way to try to stop people from thriving than to keep them organizing? Well, isn't that what they did on the plantations?
Exactly.
Just from getting together. The only time we could get together at a church service where we had to conceal what we were really doing. We were strategizing, right?
Yep.
So if people, I hope I'm making it plain for the viewers out there. They are scared if you work together. So what do you think that you can accomplish if you work together?
That's right.
Can take over the system. You can break the system. You can get rid of these same barriers. We could get rid of redlining. If anybody took the time to watch the movie The Banker, it broke down redlining and what they did to strategically take black banks out.
That's it.
So, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit passionate.
One more thing, Julius, before you say something.
Right.
The one thing that you got to realize that they have done to us since they brought us here, they found a way. They would give let one or two of us make it. And then one or two that they let make it, then they will go back behind that one or two backs and say, look at him, he think he better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Then they bring on animosity amongst the one that's up here trying to make it and the one that's trying to get there. They bring that animosity to them. And when they bring that animosity to them, then this one is hating the one that's trying to make it and won't support that one. Mm-hmm. And they do it all day long.
Well, it's a diabolical plan to destroy something that is indestructible. And and to tell you the truth, we are indestructible. We're our biggest problem right now. They saw that they couldn't do it. They couldn't break us, so that they have people and agents inside trying to destroy us from the inside out, while they push from the outside in. And to go back on something that Sister Deidre said, Dr. Deidre said, they don't show black men in a positive light. It's for a reason.
That's right.
They don't show us in a positive light and everything great that we're doing. You never see it. You never see it. It's very, very, very rare. But on this platform, we have a show coming called Black Men Rock. We're not going to get the mayor unless he's advocating for the people and ready to die for the people. We're not going to get Barack Obama. We're going to get that man that's out there like Pastor Smalls, like Jerome Irwin, like Dr. Jamal Toure. We're going to recognize you guys that are doing things in the community to uplift us, because that's what it's all about. We got a sister out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She used to live here, but she's moving to Charlotte. She's planning on coming back. She's setting up office now in Savannah, and she's gonna have Buy Black Savannah because she got Buy Black Charlotte. This sister's bad. She got Black Men Rock. It's an event that she does every year, red carpet black tie event in Charlotte. We're going to bring and try to unite the cities together. Atlanta, Charlotte, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville. We're going to try to get something going where we understand that we need to wake each other up, that we need to support each other. And that's what this platform is all about. So when you see ATR and what we're doing things to not to uplift our community. It ain't about that we trying to run away from anybody. It ain't about that we trying to be on anything racist. We're trying to uplift our community so we can all play on the same field. Right now, we're playing on a field that's down here when everybody else is playing on a field that's up here. So we're trying to level the playing field so that there could be some equity. And I see Brother Jamal Toure, you look like you're ready to speak. So I'm going to shut up and let you go with what you're saying. I can see that warrior in you. You got to unmute first.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. I was fine with what you're saying, and that again, I think it is absolutely important for us to celebrate us, and we often don't celebrate us because we get caught in the things that Brother Jerome was saying, that Reverend Dr. Lanier Smalls was saying, what Dr. Grimm was saying. You know, our brothers and sisters, y'all are all aware. We just got to infuse that into our communities and let us not be, and let all of us be aware. Because we are so reliant on local media, because what the numbers have said, that Black folks tend to buy into what the local media is saying, when the local media has been the enemies to Black folks and to their struggles. Local media has not supported us with regards to our struggles, and so we cannot trust them and solely rely on them. So that's why platforms like ATR become so important and so relevant. But I had to throw this out there to say this. Now, you see ATR out there being a voice, and you see all the platforms, all the shows from Dr. Smalls, Reverend Dr. Smalls, what he does on Saturday nights, that thing is powerful. He puts out information and gives a perspective. That is a perspective that is needed for us. But be careful of those groups of people that will not come along, that will give you watered down versions of bad facsimiles of a Reverend Dr. Smalls show, of a Candidly Keisha, by us, for us. That the rabble, the watchdogs, watch out for, again, shows that are basically watered down versions that are done by other people to make you not buy into the truth that they're all saying, to try to make us divided. Because now ATR has become a force here that, again, social media is the news, and that Black folks also use social media as a way to gain the news. And the platforms right now, we got to embrace them. We got to support them. And that's with regards to when we talk about the unions that you all discussed. The unions have helped us. They have helped us. But if you listen to the media, some of them try to convey, no, that's not to our advantage. And so, again, we cannot buy into these platforms done by other people that are not us, who ain't looking out for us and have historically not looked out for us.
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
I want to pose this to the gentlemen on the panel, though, all of you all. Alderwoman Miller Blakely had a really good post the other day, and it was talking about how some Black people really are only concerned about their position on the totem pole, right? I'm paraphrasing. So how do we help our people not compromise us? You know, we see that they get a few dollars here and there from, you know, quote unquote local celebrities and local organizations and get funded, but then water down their message, then, you know, take other adventures, business adventures, and run with it, but leave us behind. So what can we do to keep us accountable to each other? Because, you know, we're selling out each other out daily, probably every moment, you know, as we speak. So I want someone to speak to that, please.
I'll throw something out there. We have to call out the rats and the roaches because they operate in darkness, and they know for a fact, because they operate in darkness, no one says anything about them. And that's why, again, the same people I named with regards to their shows, that is what they do. They are not exposing, they're putting the light, they're shining the light. We got to shine the light. And so then that will not let another group of people, another generation of them or another segment of them understand that if they go astray from our common goal, our common effort, then they're going to be called out. And then guess what? The community is going to know about it, and the community will address them. They will no longer be heroes. They'll be villains in our community. And that's because they chose to be villains. Not that we're vilifying them. They chose to be villains. And that's why I want to be clear about that. Not that we're making them villains. They chose to vilify themselves, and it's our job to call them out.
That's correct.
And I'll tell you another thing. 3 of the women that we got that Dr. Smalls talked about, we talked with those women, and I've told them, I said, look, be careful of what you talk around certain people. Because number one, you could just be having a casual conversation, and you talking to somebody and somebody sitting next to you, and they hear you say, well, I need a new roof on my house. You know, it sounds simple, but I need a new roof on my house. I need a room put on my house. I need my driveway paved. You come home, you got a new roof on your house. You got your driveway paved. Then when the next thing you know, you turn around and it's a bill coming up or something coming up at City Hall, and this person comes. Remember, I put that roof on your house.
Mm-hmm.
I did your driveway for you, but I need this done now. I did that for you. Now I need this done. You got to be so careful. I like to say it. You got to be so careful of what you say and how you do around other people when you're in certain positions, to make sure that you can stay on the level field, because people will play you.
Well, here's a phrase I coined. It is almost impossible to enslave and enlighten people. Forever. The fact is, if we will continue to make the facts known, then the consciousness will be seared on the right side in order for us to move the community from this mindset of, I've got to keep my head down in order for me to keep my car. What they don't realize is, if you lift your head up, you'll have more than car. If you lift your head up and get to where you understand the dynamics whereby the other community. Now I know this will besmirch somebody's sensibilities, but you know my theme is tell it like it is. When I walk into court, I want to be treated like a white person. When I walk into court, I want to be treated. I know that don't sound right to a lot of people, but what I want you to understand is, when a white man walks into court, he expects to be treated a certain way. So why would I have less of a mindset going in, well, I'm black, so they're going to treat me a certain way? No, I'm going to go in and I'm going to have studied the rules of the playing field well enough to know whenever they get out of line, I take their rules and bring them back in line. So and people need to, particularly you, some of our educated people, stop allowing folk to tell you what the rules are. Get the book and read the rules. When we went up to the magistrate court one day and we wanted to file a criminal charge against someone. And they said, well, if the police didn't charge him, you can't. That's not the truth. That's not the law. That's not the law. You can take out a subpoena on anybody for anything. Then they have to hear it. And they'll either charge probable cause. And Dr. Toure was trained in the law, so he knows I know what I'm talking about. Anybody could do that. But when we went there, the lady, no, it's not our policy. We can't do that. So I said, lady, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're supposed to be the manager of this whole office. So I wrote a certified letter to Judge Moss, Chief Judge of Magistrate Court. She got it at 8 o'clock. She called me at 8:15. I said, Reverend Small, if y'all come back right down here, I don't know. She must have just made a mistake. Don't count it to her heart. Just count it to her head for getting something. Don't count it to her heart. I said, that lady was prejudiced. She was talking about me. She was talking down to me. I know talking down to me. I've been doing this for a long time. So I won't see if we'll learn how to just speak the truth. Just speak the truth. And don't worry about where the chips gonna fall. Because if you don't speak the truth, the chips gonna fall on you anyway. So what you have to do, get that slave mentality out of you.
Yeah.
Get that idea that if I keep my head down, Master won't whip me. Master gonna work you until you die anyway. Get your head up. Look,
That's
Master,
right.
I'm working. You got to pay me. You're not going to enjoy my labor for free. And listen, they used to buy us one at a time, like they did at the Weeping Tabernacle. Okay, they used to buy us one at a time. Now they buy one of us and get the rest of us for free.
Sure do. Because guess what? They say it and they think that we're supposed to believe it. Just because it's said, it is not necessarily true. Listen to the facts and trust the people who are bringing it to you honestly. When Dr. Toure tells you something, you better believe he has already researched it. When Reverend Smalls, Pastor Dr. Reverend Smalls tells you something, believe it. Because he is giving it from his heart. He is not looking for anything. He wants you to be uplifted by the information that he's giving. He only concerned. God has a purpose for saving this man's life. So that purpose, he understands it. So with that purpose, with his understanding, he has an obligation to give you the correct information. So ain't nobody trying to pull no wool over your head. He's not advocating the reason, the ways that he's advocating for no reason. He's advocating because God has told him to do so.
Come on
So
with it.
y'all got to understand that stop killing the messenger when the message is from God.
Let me add something to that, because I know that I was just thinking about it because, Dr. Smalls does tell the truth, right? But they get so many mixed message from these other faith-based leaders who are not righteous, who are not in right standing, who are opposite, working against us, working against the people, just doing what they need to do in order to get their congregation to make sure that their coffers are filled. But at the end of the day, we need honest people of faith, honest people of God to tell what it is and what is truth, because old people always told me, shun the very appearance evil. So if it didn't sound right, what I would do, my mom always taught me to go get that book and figure it out. There's always truth in whatever God's word you read, the Torah, the Bible, and I'm sorry, I can't even think. My head is spinning at so many miles a minute. But examine the truth. It will speak to your spirit if it's true or not. And so I need people to start doing the research instead of thinking it's going to be force fed to you or just laid out on a platter, because that's not how it ever worked. But I think we also need to continue this in this trusted voices message, because we have quote unquote trusted voices that are not telling us the truth. And so that's the problem that, you know, Pastor Small and Dr. Toure and Mr. Irving and yourself are having these days, because they read everything else except the truth and examine it as such, dividing the word, as my mom would always teach me.
I got a point now, and I know my ministerial colleagues are going to take exception to this, but Dr. Toure gonna be smiling like he found money every time we have these issues with these families. And I don't know which church they go to, but why am I standing there with or for the people and their ministers are not there?
Why?
I'm just listen, don't kill the messenger.
And that's decades worth, Reverend Dr. Small. You've been doing it for decades.
On and on and on.
Decades.
On and on and on. I'm not telling you what happened 3 days ago. I'm telling you 25, 30 years. Yeah. Toure, that's why I said Toure would know. Because he's seen me. Wait a minute. Savannah State College. We got kids from all over Savannah. Okay? They're being put upon. They're about to lose the school. They were going to take it. They were going to take Savannah State College. They had the bootlicker there who was getting ready to deliver Savannah State to Armstrong. No question about it. That was the plan.
Yes,
the students went in and took over the administration building. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm down at the church doing some work. They call Rev Small. What's going on? You need to come to the school. Come to the school for what? We done took over the administration building. You did what? And we go to there, and we got kids from all over Savannah and other kids from everywhere across Georgia. But none of the other pastors of any of those children ever came. And guess what? We saved the school, but I'm still looking to figure out whose side these brothers leaning on. I hate, listen, I keep calling her Deidre, I'm sorry. Dr. Grimm talked about something a little while ago about her husband and his protective instinct. I got sick. I was diagnosed with terminal cancer. If I don't get a liver transplant, I die. Watch this. I got down to days. I was sleeping 20 hours out of a 24-hour day. That's how weak I was. I'm not talking about weeks. I was down to days. But on my way getting weak like that, one of the things that bothered me is that if somebody bothered my wife or my children, I didn't have enough strength. I got depressed because I wouldn't have enough strength to defend them. I told my daughter one day, we was going in the hotel for another round of chemo and radiation. And we was going, and I was so weak. I said, baby, I just don't feel like if somebody had bothered you or your mama, I wouldn't be able to defend it. And it hurts my heart. And my daughter said, my daughter Robin, she said, Daddy, if somebody was bothering me and mama, even as weak and sick as you are, you would kill them. That's what my daughter said. I'm talking about weak. She said, you would find the strength. She knew that her father would find a way to protect her. Now, I take that same spirit to the community. I'm going to find a way to help that whore decide whoring is not her best use or her highest purpose. I'm going to take that same protective strength to pick that boy up when he's getting out of the jail, and instead of letting him go back to the street in Savannah, I'm going to take him up to Jessup, put him in a house, get him a job, away from the thugs and the drugs. That same protective strength. And if you men who are not standing up in this community, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart because you're letting them destroy us one at a time. And then when they get to you, then you say, why can't black folk come together? When did you come together? And we're going to have to do better. We got the power. They are afraid of us. They are afraid of our collective strength because they know if we ever come together and we realize what we can get for it, we will never be able to be torn apart. When men stand up, and I'm not talking, sisters, I'm not discounting y'all a bit, but they don't fear y'all like they fear us, and for good reason.
Toure?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with Reverend Smalls. I was just agreeing with him, and he brought up a point that I think is absolutely valid. Where are the ministers and the clergy of these people that are abused? And that's why I threw it out there. Reverend Smalls has been on this front line with regards to that for decades. For decades, he said 25 years. I was like, yo, he's been doing it. I'm like 30-something years, 40-something years with regards to this, and that he has been the one. I'm going to throw it out there. Brother Najee Enzi and I used to talk about Reverend Smalls this back in the 90s. Good. And I just got to go and say this. And the two ministers in particular that we were going to talk about that you will see, it'd be Reverend Benny R. Mitchell and Reverend Pastor Dr. Leonard Small. Those were the two that when issues are going on, they are at least out there. And we learn from how people criticize them with regards to our own matters as we then became older and got involved more with regards to this, that they are out there because nobody else is standing up. Nobody else is standing up. So that's why Pastor Mitchell is out there. We're like, that's why Reverend Smalls is out there, because nobody else is standing up. So they have no choice. And so for all of us, there's no choice. When we see the injustice, that's why Julius Hall stands up. That's why Brother Jerome stands up. That's why Sister Dr. Deidre Grimm stands up. That's why our Alderwomen stand up. That's why our other elected officials, Antoine Lang, others, that's why they stand up, because they see it falling apart or a failure. So somebody got to rectify it. And so Reverend Smalls has been out there doing it. So when he said it, I think the community and those people who are listening need to share this and spread this on, because that's crucial. That point that he said, that is crucial, because look at the people who are saying something and look at the ones who are silent.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And you know, to piggyback off of that, I have and on the screen y'all see the Watchdogs at 12 noon tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I have a word. It just so happens that this is my platform, but it's our platform, our voices. But tomorrow I have a word. God gave it to me.
Wow.
And some people be saying, "Oh man, God ain't gave you nothing," but God gave me this word. My wife woke up at 4:30. I woke up at 4:15. My wife woke up at 4:30, and I was typing what God put on my heart. Jesus. At 6:30, she turned back over and said, "You still with that?" I said, "God gave it to me, baby. I can't stop till I finish." Mm. So tomorrow I'll be delivering that word. So he gave it to me Tuesday or Wednesday night. It was in the morning. So it was like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, 4:00 in the morning. I got it. I wrote it. I typed it as it was being inspired to me.
Wow.
Because you can't get information but a few ways. You got to read it, you got to be taught it, or it's got to be inspired. So this was inspired. And it's just a word that I'm giving tomorrow. It ain't going to take me 5-10 minutes. Y'all watch the Watchdogs. I'm saving it tomorrow. It's a word to the pastors.
Amen.
It's a word to the activists. And it's a word to the community leaders and to the people. So y'all stand by for tomorrow. If you want to hear it, tune into the Watchdog tomorrow. I ain't trying to make you watch it. You can watch it a week from now. But
I think everybody gonna be there. If it's a word inspired by God coming through you, Pastor Small, get the holy water and make sure you got the collar.
She been hanging with Sabrina Newby too much.
Yeah.
She been hanging with Sabrina Jamal. She been hanging with Sabrina Newby, you know.
Yes, sir.
You got to watch
Yes,
them.
sir. I got him, Doc. Doc, I got him. I'm gonna oil him down like I'm trying to cook chicken.
I'm gonna carry my robe. I'm gonna carry my long white robe.
Y'all put it on. I tell you, I just got to say what I got to say tomorrow. God put it on me, and when I'm finished, then we're just gonna finish with the show. But we got about 15 minutes here. I want y'all to just tell the world what y'all want to tell them, one at a time. I just want to say, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the Watchdogs at 12. Tell It Like It Is at 6 p.m. And on Sunday at 7 p.m., Voices in the Struggle. They'll be back soon. They're just on a vacation for the summer, for the spring. So they'll be back in a couple of weeks. But we got a rerun of their show tomorrow, What Men Want. So y'all tune in on Sunday for their show, Voices in the Struggle. But the Watchdogs at 12 and Tell It Like It Is at 6 p.m. Any last words for you, Sister Deidre Grimm?
Give me a second. I'm getting my points together.
Okay, well, Brother Jamal Toure, you can give your words and go eat your pizza. Because I wanted to get in the car and come over there and get pizza when you showed it. Me, Reverend Small was looking at it saying, good Lord.
I was sweating it.
That's right. Because that's what I was saying. I'm gonna have to go because I gotta go get the pizza. But
And he had 2 boxes. He had 2 boxes.
Oh, yeah, I had 2 boxes.
Does your trainer know that?
Yeah. I saw that. Fat man don't make no food. Fat man don't miss food.
Yes, sir.
But, I think the time has been here. The time has already been up for us now to come together. It has been up for us to stand up for what's right. The time has been here that we are doing a disservice to our people, to our communities, and to the next generation. The time has been here. The voices have already been here telling us what we need to do. And it's time for the people to now fully listen to us, because there's always going to be those stragglers who are trying to hold, just like Dr. Groom's putting out there, those people, as Reverend Dr. Small's putting out there, Reverend Jerome Irwin, who have been putting out there. You have those stragglers who are not going to toe the line with us, and we have to isolate them, as Julius Hall often does. We have to isolate them and let them be to themselves and let them feast off of themselves, as opposed to feasting off of our communities and our people. That is time. The time has been up for that, and we have to continue going forward. That again, going forward, not going backwards and not being stagnant, because there are people who want us to remain stagnant because they like the ignorance that's caused by being stagnant. And so again, glad to be with all these warrior kings and warrior queens who are right here doing the right thing. And I want the Savannah community, Chatham County community to understand these are the people who are sincerely fighting on behalf of you. I'm not criticizing other people and calling any other names, but I'm just saying I can tell you the people who I see objectively fighting on your behalf with truth, justice, honesty, and righteousness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now I see y'all tomorrow. Great show as always. ATR is the bomb. That's right. And so, I can only imagine what Reverend Dr. Small is going to do on tomorrow. I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. Y'all better tune in at 12 and tune in at 6.
Boy, Lord.
All right, who's next? Dr. Jerome Irwin, go ahead and tell us what your word and thoughts of in our closing. We got about 12 minutes between the three of y'all.
It ain't gonna be 12 minutes though, but when I got started and got to be president of the Labor Council, first black president they had, when I found out about the apprentice programs that they had, that they were keeping, it was being kept quiet. I took it and I opened up, I created a program called Building Futures. We went to the high schools, Grove High School, Beach High School. We got kids out. Of course, though, I had to act like I used to act for about 3 or 4 months. Walk around and had to stay dressed up because they didn't like it. But then all of a sudden they found out that was the best thing ever happened. Now can we get some more students? How can we get these students? But the one thing that I did find out, and that me and Sister Grimm is gonna have a big powwow about, I found a company that would build and revitalize neighborhoods. The only thing they wanted was make sure that union labor did it.
Wow.
And we've got, these are the kind of things that you don't keep to yourself. You bring it to our neighbor, we bring it to the neighborhood, and let them know about it. Let everybody need to, just like you said earlier, Julius. We all need to invest and make sure that we all on the same sheet of music here. I see that little one running through there. But and that's what I do. Because I know something, I'm gonna keep it to myself. No, this is the perfect opportunity for Sister Grimm, Dr. Grimm, them to get ahead of the game. So we're gonna have a big power, Sister Grimm, and get it done. But like Reverend Smalls told me once, and I think I told him 3 or 4 times, I could not have been a slave because I don't know how to follow orders. I stand for me, stand on my own. And I've never been able to see somebody else being held down without me helping them. So that's all I got to say tonight.
Okay, Dr. Grimm, you got your words together?
I do, but I want Reverend Jerome to reiterate those dates and times so the viewing audience will know when to show up and where to show up.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll be at the May Street Y from 11 until 2, and on the May 15th we'll be at Forsyth Park from 11 until 2.
Okay, so I was taking notes to make sure I have my stuff down. So
make sure we get those things so we can all share it on our Facebook pages at least 2 days beforehand, Jerome.
All right, I will.
And so also tomorrow, if you want to come see us first and then go see Reverend Irwin, we'll be in the garden on Hudson and Monday tomorrow, planning, focusing on healing around our community, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So gardens are regenerative. So we want to ensure that the whole community comes out. We want youth. We want our elders to make sure that they are learning from and bridging the gap in between. So that's how we see and center our garden. Also, if you want to know more about Ivory Bay, you can find me at deidre@ivorybay.org. Just send me an email. I'm quite sure you can just type in Facebook, Deidre Grimm, send me a message, and I'm here to help. But I really want to drive home some points. I want people to watch out for and be on the lookout for announcements around the Weeping Time Archaeological Study. We need all eyes on that. We need to make sure that nothing slips through the crack. There's no foul play, and ensuring that this is an unbiased study that's done and that the truth will prevail. So continue to watch out for that. email city and city council and the city manager to say, hey, I want to know what's going on and be abreast. They are accountable to you because you pay taxes here. Secondly, I want people to watch out. Oh, and here go Mr. Hall. I want people to watch out for those who don't show up when there are injustices that occur. You know, pay attention, you know, because at the end of the day, if they're not serving you, then they need to be gone. So you do not need to have someone in office that is not doing your will. And then also, I want to drive home a point. Your health is your wealth. They are interconnected. There's no separating the two. So if you think it's by happenstance that you are living in an impoverished neighborhood and your mortality rates are higher than your counterparts, that is by design. So it is time for us to make sure that the economics match the health outcomes. So if you want to know more about how you can be vigilant about ensuring that your health and wealth are always connected and that the next generation have those same abilities, please see me as well. And I thank you for this time, Mayor-elect Julius Hall. I'm gonna speak that into existence.
Claim it. Claim it. I'm going to claim it. You spoke it, I'm going to claim it. Go ahead, Pastor.
They said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Evident to who? Not the people in the room who said it. When they said it was self-evident that all men are created equal, they had slaves. Now, it is true. All of us are created equal. And from the time we're created, you have to fight for your equality. You have to strive for it. You have to demand it. It will not be given to you. Power does not concede without a struggle. We need to understand these things, but we also need to understand that we have an extraordinary potential. Right now in Chatham County and the city of Savannah, there are, you need to think about this, there are 7 African Americans elected on the city council. Whether they act like it or not, there are 7 people who, our color, got elected in the city. That tells you about potential, whether it's been realized or not. There are 6 blacks on a 9-member board at the county commission. There's a black district attorney, a black treasurer for the city, tax commissioner. So how do we have all this and then we function as if we're weak? Let me show you a difference. And I know I've looked on Facebook today, and I saw a few of you who were jumping on Chester about the fundraiser. Okay, you can have that fun opinion, no problem. I understand that. But here's what you need to understand. When the CARES Act money came to the city, they illegally distributed that money prior to the time of the application period. That is malfeasance of federal dollars, flat foot malfeasance. I'm talking to the lawyers. I'm trying to put together the case to file the complaint because someone needs to answer for that. You cannot give away federal money before the application period that you advertise even opens. That's illegal. Now, I want you to put that next to this. So the county got CARES Act money. They immediately called Georgia Power and told them to put on a moratorium for cutting off people's power. They spread a news all over the city. Everybody didn't get it, but that they would pay up to 3 months of rent before you would be put out. They told the tax commissioner, got together with some of our city officials and shut down the sale of properties at the tax sale. If you got the right people in the right place and they got the right spirit to do the right thing, we can help our community. That's why we vote. That's why we must vote. And even even though we've been disappointed with our outcome on the city level, make sure you hear me. 32 months is not a lifetime. 32 months is not a long time. And for the record, I did my first direct action marching with boards on my front and on my back in front of Bargain Corner when I was 10 or 11 years old. I've been doing this for 60 years. I've been fighting for what other people are bequeathed at birth. Now, someone would say, isn't that a waste of your life to have to fight for what everybody else gets just by being born white? And that's what it is. No, it can't be a waste of time when I don't want my grandchild to have to do the same thing. It can't be a waste of time when I've helped young men and young women get through law school and medical school and open businesses. It can't be a waste of time when a young man called me yesterday who I hadn't seen in 30 years, and in 20 some years, and he told me the time he spent in my drug treatment program got him on his feet, and he owns 3 different electric companies in 3 different cities. It can't be a waste of time when the lady who takes care of my mother was a prostitute on Jefferson Street, and now she's saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. It can't be a waste of time.
Preach.
And so what we need to do is understand how we can invest in each other. And for those young preachers who think it's all about you and want to get something and want to have something, I want you to look in my face, because you need to realize that Negro got money. Look at me. Got money doing what's right. I didn't get it being slick. I tried slick. Slick didn't work for me. I became a square. I became an investor. I learned how to invest in other people's businesses, Black folks' businesses. And the preacher got paper. This ain't no bluff. God got a plan, and it's got you in mind. But you got to stand up and speak up. So when you lift somebody up, then God will bless you. You ain't got to worry about white folks gonna give you or not give you. Just do right. Because he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all this other junk gonna be added to you. And I got junk. So why would I be scared to speak up when God has already blessed me? I don't see how I'll ever be broke. Ever. I'm gonna spend as much as I can because I ain't gonna leave them turn all that money. I love y'all.
Julius, one more thing. Julius, one
Go
quick
ahead.
thing. Now, Reverend, I want you to understand this.
Yes, sir.
May 10th, $64 million federal money is coming to the city of Savannah, Georgia. This $64 million is not aired for infrastructure.
That's right.
It's not aired for infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be on the lookout for that. That is supposed to be spent to help the people.
And Van is the head guy over a city council that's got a click on it with another $64 million. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
And then July they got the infrastructure money coming.
Okay.
So we need to pay attention to all of those things that are coming down the line, and we got people that are fighting for us, and we got to stop fighting against them. The community needs to stand up and understand that when somebody's fighting for you, you don't jump on their back and stop them from fighting for you. You don't speak out against them. You fight in the fight with them. And tomorrow I will give that message. I didn't wake up 4 o'clock in the morning for nothing. But what God working through me for? Who am I? So
that's a miracle.
yeah. So just hey, I got to be obedient to what God told me, because I've been disobedient for 40, 50 years. So I just got to be obedient to what God is telling me that's on my heart. It won't take but 10 minutes because we got a show to do tomorrow. But y'all, I don't know what I'm doing in the beginning or the end or the middle. So y'all just stay tuned, watch the show. We're gonna be there, and that's all I can say about it. I love you guys and gals. Y'all just we're gonna try to do this monthly wrap up once a month at the end of the month every Friday, whether it be in the morning or at night, and we're gonna go from there. Did you have something else you was trying to say?
Tell Tanya her prayers have been answered. The prayers of the righteous availeth much.
See, you've been hanging with Sabrina Newby too long. And that's the problem. We got to get you away from Sabrina Newby. But don't forget, tomorrow, 12 noon, the Watchdog, 6 o'clock tomorrow. You got Tell It Like It Is with Pastor Dr. Reverend Smalls. And then you got Sunday, you got 7 o'clock with Voices in the Struggle. And then we'll start all over with week 2 with Candy Lakeisha, Alicia Blakely, Rabble, all those kind of things. So don't forget, we're here. We're giving you the information the way you need to have it. We got a bunch of shows coming in May and June. Y'all stand by. We're going to give it to you like you're supposed to have it. America After Dark, there you go right there saying I got you. America After Dark airs June 4th. Y'all don't worry. It's going to be one of them shows. But anyway, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all go out and support Brother Jerome Irwin, the APRI. But put your phones on this platform for 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Amen.
And I'll talk and see y'all later. Love y'all.
Love
all
you.
right?
Love you too, brother.
All right.
This is